Good evening from Swansea wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for pro wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today, it's Mailbag Monday, where we answer the questions that all of you have submitted to us via Instagram stories, and we do have quite a few good questions today. It's going to be a fun show. It always is on a Monday with Mailbag Monday. But without further ado, let me introduce the panel. Firstly, the head of reviews here at Wrestling Republic, Coby Galenzoski. How are you, Cobe?
We're here an hour earlier than normal on a Monday morning. This is odd to say the least. My internal clock is being changed by Ben, and I hate it. Anyway, it's Mailbag Monday. I'm here. We're talking all things Edge. We're talking all things AEW. It's a loaded week, 10 days ahead, and let's start talking.
Absolutely. We're going to get straight into things. And yes, we're an hour earlier today. We had to change the schedule, but we are on track and we are ready to go. Also, this, of course, the show on Sunday this week will be at a later start time, not an earlier start time, because, of course, All In is happening. So this week, there's going to be a few time changes, but make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Threads, or just look on YouTube because I will schedule them earlier in the day to see when the show is on. But now let me introduce the next guest, Carter Crisp. How are you, Carter?
What's up, Ben? I'm doing good. We're in the middle of a hurricane out here in Southern California. Mr. Gregory Helms decided to pay us a visit, but we're doing good. I'm a little angry with Tony Khan for how he treated my boy Samoa Joe this week, but I'm happy to be here, man.
Oh, no, yeah, of course, with CM Punk taking him out while being masked, that was certainly something to say at the very least. But also joining us, we have Bret Sternberg. How are you today, Bret?
I'm good. How's everyone? Happy Monday. Time to get the week going, Coby. Everything's good. I just wish one person I'm a little disappointed in is LA Knight for going to the Mets and not the Yankees to throw out the first pitch. You know who the winners are in this league.
Oh, some beef, which I don't understand because I don't know about American sports, but I will take your word for it, Bret. But firstly, let me get into my 5 top wrestlers of the week. Firstly, in at number 5, I have Kevin Knight, who got to the final of New Japan Pro Wrestling's All-Star Junior US tournament by defeating one of their top prospects in the entire company, Clark Connors, in a very solid opener on the show this past weekend. At number 4, I have the Street Profits, who of course got that very dominant win over the OC on SmackDown this week, and it seems like they have more momentum currently than they ever have done. Now they are aligning themselves with Bobby Lashley. In at number 3, Darby Allin. Not only this week did Darby Allin team up with Nick Wayne to defeat the Gates of Agony on Dynamite, but then on Collision, he defeated the legendary Christian Cage in a great main event. Then at number 2, I have Mike Bailey, who of course won New Japan Pro Wrestling's All-Star Junior US tournament by defeating Francisco Akira. And then in the final, Kevin Knight. In the same night, it was wow, fantastic. Congratulations to him. But at number 1, I have Edge. And in what might have been, his final match with WWE, he defeated Sheamus in a banger of a bout on SmackDown this week. And if that is the way he goes out, that is a great way to go out. And we're going to be talking more about Edge later in the show. But those are my top 5 wrestlers of the week. But let's actually move directly into Mailbag Monday from this because, well, it's a great lead-in. And let's talk about the questions submitted to us on Instagram by @12SteveAdams, who asked us, is Edge going to AEW. Now, let me get straight into this and say this entire speculation started because last week Ed said, well, this is the last match on my WWE contract. After this, I might consider retirement. And I mean, the way he went out, that wouldn't surprise me. It kind of did feel like a potential goodbye. He then clarified in another interview later on, the day after SmackDown, that his contract actually expires in September, but he's had his final match on his deal. And then after that, he will be a free agent. So the question is, there's pretty much three options or three likely options. First one, he signs a new deal with WWE for maybe, a year or two longer at an even more part-time schedule or something like that. Option two, he retires. Could be very likely. It did kind of seem like it was a retirement match. He didn't leave his boots in the ring or any of that, but I mean, a lot of people haven't. But the third option, and this is the one which we're going to be speculating about, ruthlessly speculating about today, is will Edge go to AEW? He's a free agent in just a few weeks' time. Could it happen? His old tag team partner Christian Cage is already there. He's claiming to be the TNT champion. Maybe Edge will show up and shut him up. I don't know about this one. I don't. But let's send this firstly to a fellow Canadian. Coby, what did you think? What do you think about this? And do you think Edge will be heading to All Elite Wrestling?
Well, I mean, you did a great job at summing up. I mean, the current situation we have the original. Yeah, the last match of my contract, and it reveals when it officially extended. Because keep in mind, he had that tricep injury that they did tack time onto. And at the end of the day, we're looking at a position of where Edge had his last WWE match, and now his contract's about to be over. I said this on the weekend on Saturday that I'm like, to me, he's got a lot of internal thinking. He already says like he doesn't think he has another year left in him, which is odd. So it's like, okay, who's gonna want to bite that type of contract? Yeah, it's not gonna be like a bad thing to do necessarily, but I think the biggest thing is they came into WWE together, and I think they both want to end their career together in some format. We don't physically know how long Christian has left on his deal. I think he's up next March-ish, or unless they do tack time on, which probably is next fall. I don't know. Does Edge just go there and want to have a feud? Because there's a lot of moves we can do. There's a lot of matches we can do. We can do Edge versus the Hardys. We can do Edge and Christian versus. Wow, he's obviously not going to be Edge in AEW, but versus FTR. There's a lot of teams we can do this, and I think it's a lot of bucket list type moves. I do think he is going. I think there is a bigger chance he goes there. The only other option is set up that contract to retire at next year's WrestleMania. But I do think he's going to go to AEW since nothing's already been made official. Unless they are very much keeping it on the down low, he already has resigned. But I don't think we haven't heard he has yet, so I do think he is going to go.
Yeah. No, I mean, you made some great points there. And I mean, the biggest, thing about it being is, if he has secretly signed, then, surely they would have done like a post-match angle on SmackDown or something like that. And they didn't do that. But yeah, I mean, we got number one Superfly in the comments saying he's not entirely sure if Edge is going to go to AEW. Plus, what name would he use? Because he can't even use Adam because there's enough Adams there as it is. I'm going to be honest. I'm sure they'd introduce a third Adam. They would. But Carter, what about you? Do you think we could be seeing Edge in All Elite Wrestling?
I think that AEW would be smart to re-sign Christian and go really hard after that contract, just knowing the cross promotion. I don't know how friendly. I know they've gotten friendlier, WWE and AEW, over the years, but just to see a WWE guy go over, relink with his former tag partner, former rival. I was at Ric Flair's last match in Nashville. I think it was maybe last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the next week he was wrestling in Puerto Rico. So I know retirement in pro wrestling is a little different than retiring in boxing and MMA, but I would think that he's going to take a little break and then go on a short little run And my advice to the AEW higher ups who were not nice to my boy Samoa Joe this week: get that Christian contract, get that extension in, get a little run in with Edge, whether that be tag team or singles, and it'll just be more eyes to the product, more cross. I think the cross promoting between the promotions, even though it's not like they're not like directly linked like Ryzen and Bellator, but like the fact that you have guys bouncing around, it's good for everyone. So yeah, I think an AEW run would be great for Edge. It would be great for wrestling. It'd be kind of a shame if it didn't happen, honestly. I think it would be. But he does. I don't think he even Edge. I mentioned this on the last podcast I was on. I don't think he knows where he's going as of right now. I think he's figuring that out with his family.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, his interview this week, he kept, reiterating that he doesn't know what's next for him. He doesn't know if he's done. He wasn't, specifically asked about AEW, I don't think. But it certainly, could be an interesting one to see him, finish his career with Christian Cage. I think it's something which, AEW should go after. But we're going to have to, wait and see. But what about you, Brett? Do you think it's the right move for Edge to have a run in All Elite Wrestling? Oh, sorry, Brett, you seem to be muted on your end.
The right move would not be the right thing to say. I do think that he is super loyal to WWE, and it would take him a lot to leave the company with the standing that he has there with the locker room, everything like that. Do I think that he could go home? Yes, I do think that he can go home as well. But also, I do think that if the right person's kind of motivating him, like a Christian who has in the past in WWE with the Randy Orton feud, I do feel like they could reinvigorate that. It just is hard to me to imagine Edge in AEW because of all of what he's done in WWE. But hey, we've seen Christian hop over to different companies. So, I mean, I guess it's Edge's turn potentially.
Yeah, would be interesting. I mean, it's a good point as well, where we've not really we haven't really seen Edge anywhere, apart from WWE. We never saw him go to TNA when Christian Cage was there. We've not seen that, and that would certainly be, it'd be very interesting to, and see it. I mean, the most interesting part, of course, is what name would he use? I mean, maybe, who knows, perhaps now he owns the Edge name. Perhaps that was something ideal when he returned. I doubt it. It's probably unlikely. I can see you there shaking your head, Coby. But who knows? Like, I really don't know what name he'd use. Probably just his, his actual real name. But it's one of those things where, Christian, he managed to just throw, Cage on the end of there and he was fine. Could maybe Edge, just do like Adam Edge? Or, what's his actual last name? It's Copeland something, I believe.
Copeland.
Maybe Edge Copeland. Something like that, I think. But they don't really sound great, do they? They
It's
both
probably
sound
going to
off.
be Adam Copeland if he does go, I think.
Oh, Adam and Christian doesn't sound as good, does it?
No.
Yeah,
But,
he needs Edge. He needs that.
He does. They need to find a way. They need to find a way to do something with it. That is for sure. But Adam and Christian, it doesn't sound. It's not Edge and Christian, is it? It's not Edge and Christian Weeks of Awesomeness. Go ahead, Brett.
I genuinely believe that if he does leave with the Edge name, it will still amplify sales for WWE.
Oh, okay. That'd be a smart move for them as well.
Honestly, so if he takes the Edge name, his entire backlog is in WWE. They're still gonna get the views. People are gonna look up who's Edge. People who don't know him, who are in WWE, AEW viewers, I should say. So that WWE is still gonna get that money. So if you think about it, they would be smart to let him go with it.
Yeah.
So it comes down to what margin is that? Like, is that much of a margin that it's like, yeah, take the name, take the trademark? I don't necessarily know how big it is. Like you said, like what AEW fan doesn't know Edge?
That's a good point.
Like that's the other thing. Like what, especially when the AEW fan is such a wrestling smart mark, however you want to view them. They're someone who is going to know what's happening, or at least who is who of wrestling, if you want to say it that way.
Yeah. No, 100%. I do see both points there. I mean, if it's just for a year, if it really is, in a year you'll be wrestling in AEW, then perhaps they just loan Edge the trademark for the year and say, you can use it for a year as long as we get, X amount of your merch sales, stuff like that. And then who knows, maybe it would be worth it for Edge. I mean, yeah, I don't think, to be honest, anybody's, going to be introduced, or at least very few people are going to be introduced to Edge through AEW. But who knows? Maybe some younger fans who are just getting into it, AEW is the first thing they see. It's not impossible.
The one question I want to say just quickly is, because I actually don't know about it, and I mean, it doesn't truly matter to the situation, is how do they treat it in when he's done movies? Because he did movies between not like from retirement until he came back, but he's also in that new Disney Plus show. I
believe it's his real name.
I assume it is Adam Copeland, or is it Adam Edge Copeland? Edge Copeland. I don't know. I don't know how they credit him, but I think that would be a telling thing to say. Well, would they be would they be more likely to let him use Edge?
So he uses Adam Copeland officially, but then on certain things it does have Edge in the middle in brackets. So that's what it seems to be that they use. Yeah, but I mean, who knows? Maybe he can get away with it as a nickname. I don't think that would be how it would work. They'd own Edge, but who knows? I don't think loaning it, like you said, Brett. I think that's a great shout from you. I don't think WWE loaning Edge that trademark for a year, right? Where they then take X amount of any merch sales that he sells. I think that'd be a nice gesture because it's somebody he's given he's put his life on the line for WWE for a lot of years now. And yes, WWE don't owe him anything. They don't. But it would be a very nice gesture if if they would just let him use Edge for, a year in AEW. I don't think it'd be too negative for them whatsoever. But now let's continue talking AEW, but let's specifically talk about AEW All In this Sunday on pay-per-view in Wembley Stadium, the first non-WWE sold out, but major stadium show. It could end up being sold out. I'm going to it. Chaos is going to it. David's going to it. We're all very, very hyped. It's going to be great. We're going to have vlogs. We're going to do all of that. But David has sent in a question, right? And this question which David has sent in is what should be added to the All-In buy-in? Or 0 hour, I think it's been promoted as. But here's the thing, right? I don't think anything should be. I think it should just be very simply the Ring of Honor Tag Team title match of Adam Cole and MJF taking on Aussie Open. I think that should just be it. There on the pre-show, give them 20 minutes, whatever. Start that at past, and then from there, that's all good. But let me pass this straight away. Let me pass this to you, Coby. What do you think about this? Do you think they should add more matches to the buy-in?
I think it ultimately comes down to how long you're going to do the buy-in. Like, we've seen the buy-ins before where they were half an hour, and now they are going with that 0 hour vibe. What I don't want is an oversaturation of the buy-in or the 0 hour, whatever. We already have one massive match that should be the only massive match. I could see at least one more being put on. Now, I don't want to say there can be a common theme among the matches, but there can be a common theme among the matches. Since you are two companies and you're more than happily letting other people from other promotions come in to do shows, Kota Ibushi free agent, you have Will Ospreay getting the Jericho match. To me, it almost seems like you could almost theme around the All-In 0 hour around Ring of Honor. I think she's more than likely she's definitely put her flowers into this game. She's earned her stripes, whatever you want to view it. Athena deserves a spotlight. Yes. We got her on the Forbidden Door pre-show, but then it was just like that went that went to a somewhat weird Owen Hart run that led to the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor main event that was never marketed as the main event. She deserves something. I think I'm not necessarily keeping up with Ring of Honor. I don't know what I think she's in a bit of a tweening role right now when she has like I think the Renegade sisters are going after her or something like that. She's in kind of a face role, but I think if you're gonna do anything, put at least some other spotlight, because we're gonna sit here and say, well, All In does need more coverage. I'd like another women's match on the card that it can deliver, and I am more than happy to say Athena deserves it because she's been such a talent for the last year, developing essentially off television for the whole year. Aside from that little Owen Hart Cup spurt, her entire new character has been developed on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, and moved to Ring of Honor. She's put in the work while not even being given a big enough platform.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. So if anything's being added, I would put a Ring of Honor women's title match. Is what was it? Is Chris Statlander versus Willow the collision promo? Not promo. The program for Chris Statlander. I don't know if that's an all in or an all out match.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it hasn't been announced yet.
That could be the other 0 hour match. But to me, I'd almost prioritize it being a Ring of Honor, because you can't put Claudio in there because he's in Stadium Stampede. So you can't, unless you're gonna do a pure title. Oh wait, I don't think you're gonna bring Shibata. I guess Shibata is gonna be there for Rev Pro, but I don't think Shibata's gonna wrestle twice in a few days.
Yeah,
So
I
I think you do put something Athena related in that scenario.
I really don't hate that at all, Coby. And I mean, like you said, if Athena deserves to, be on that big platform, to be competing in a stadium, I'd be down for it. I really, really would be. As for, Statlander, Willow, that situation, Mercedes Martinez, all of those Diamante, I think they'll probably be all out, because I think All In's already so stacked. But who knows? Maybe that'll get announced last minute. I'm not sure. But it's certainly going to be interesting to see, how things play out about that. But Athena defending the Ring of Honor Championship, even if it's against somebody from the British women's scene, like somebody from Rev Pro or Progress, I wouldn't hate that at all. On the 0 hour, just to give Athena a spotlight, give her have a retainer Ring of Honor Women's Championship. I think that would be great. Bring a lot of eyes to it as well. I'm 100% for that. Great call, Coby. But let's continue talking about All In and All Out, because we have a question from @B_Breezy09 on Instagram, who is asking us, will All Out be a B show when compared to All In? And initially, when this happened, I said, it's very difficult, right? Because nobody really has ever successfully done 2 big shows in 2 weeks before. It's never happened, but it's something which, I really think could deliver, but you've got to do it well, right? You've got to make people pay $50 2 weeks in a row. So that's not easy. They charge a lot. I, for one, would have probably done, okay, both of them for $60. If 50 is what they charge in the UK, they charge about 15, 20. I'd have said, well, you can have them both for 25, right? But I understand they're not going to do that. They're going to charge them both at full price. So at that point, that's when I pitched the Elite versus CMFTR. Have that, and have absolutely stack All In, then following All In, build up, building from the Young Bucks versus FTR, build up the Elite versus CMFTR in that 1 week. The story writes itself, and it will sell pay-per-views like that really easily. All the people who hadn't planned on buying All Out, would probably end up buying All Out, a lot of them, because of that. You're throwing in a real surprise match, and that's what I think they've got to do here. They've got to do some major surprise, and I don't think it's going to be the Elite versus CMFTR anymore, but they've got to do some major surprise following, maybe during All In that leads to something at All Out, or on Dynamite the next week. They've got to do something that'll make people buy All Out, because yes, if not, you're right. All Out does feel currently like the B show compared to All In. I completely agree, but I think they have a plan. I'm hoping they have a plan. Otherwise, I really, really, really am concerned about the All Out pay-per-view sales, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if I'd buy it right, with the card it is right now for the price that it is. But Carter, give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, you guys plucked me from the MMA world, so let me point a little something out. UFC pay-per-views I think they're $80 now. It used to be $75, and they'll put fire after fire every week. So I have a lot of respect for Tony Khan for being this bold and putting his two dynamic wrestling shows back to back. But I do think that, yes, All In has to have a lot of momentum, and then that card has to lead into the All Out card in order for it to be good. I do think it's possible, and it's in the nature of All In, right? It was built on a flex. We love you, Dave Meltzer, but you said you couldn't fill an 11,000 seat stadium with an indie show, and the boys did. The Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, greatest tag team of all time. So like, it was already a flex. They filled up Wembley. That's another flex. I mean, you shoot for the stars, you end up a little bit less, but up in the sky. So I think it's a very bold and a great. It's honoring tradition too, which is building traditions with the new company, especially in a storied business like pro wrestling, is beautiful. It's bold, but I do think in order for All Out to be successful, considering the only match I think we have announced is Darby and Luchasaurus, we got to have some of that card be built up the week before. So I do think that they do need to have a continuous storyline to have people tune in. But coming from the MMA universe, it is possible to have two very strong pay-per-views one after another. And for those of us who watch boxing and MMA, we recently had the Errol Spence card on the same day as a great UFC card. So
yes,
you can stack these things one after another. Typically in wrestling you wouldn't, but if you have a good product, people are going to tune in every week. And AEW fans are a little more educated as wrestling fans than your typical fan. So I think it'll be successful, but you have to have momentum going from one show to the other. And I wish them nothing but luck and success. I hope it goes well, because AEW's been great for the business.
I absolutely agree with that, and you made some great points. I'm loving the references as well to MMA. I'm going to be honest, I actually didn't know in the US they charged $80 for a UFC pay-per-view. That's absolutely crazy. That's unheard of here. Here it's 15. And even then, like most times they're free on BT, but nobody would pay over 15. Well, AEW actually, I think they are back to 20 now, but they initially had to put it down £5 because people weren't paying 20 for it, because that's just unheard of. Pay-per-view prices are, a lot lower. Sure. And again, part of that is also, the pound is, it's a bit more valuable than the dollar, technically speaking, but even then, it's not that much of a difference. It would be like
would it
45 instead of 50.
Difference, maybe?
Pardon?
Would it have to do with the time difference, maybe?
It's just pay-per-views aren't that as expensive here. So it's something where the market is so different that people will just refuse to pay for it. And I think, stream it dodgily, in a dodgy way instead, because a lot of that is unfortunately quite popular over here. That's a big issue. And I mean, recently they jailed quite a few people who were streaming the football matches online because of that. But yeah, I mean it's very interesting.
For putting it online, come on.
I know that there's a big controversy about it as well.
Almost every other person in America is streaming something. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, there was a big debate like recently because of all that. People were like, well, we got tons of gang crimes up massively here and all that. And tons of people they're doing a big crackdown on people streaming football games. But anyway, let's not get into to all of that. The other thing, though, I'm going to touch on you saying, Carter, is AEW fans are generally more educated.
I mean, it's a smaller pool, right? You have a smaller sample size. WWE, I'm sure the most educated I'm going by sample size. Just it's a statistical.
Sounds like you're going to end up on the Borean Smarks Instagram page, Carter, for that one. But no, But no, I do agree with you, and those references are great. Let's hope AEW can do it. Tony Khan, I believe he has a plan. I really, really do, because he absolutely is not an idiot. He's very smart when it comes to business. So I hope that he does know, and he has something up his sleeve, and I have a feeling that he does. But now let's go and let's talk about something that we would change. And this question, I've actually not written down their name. I will get it up in between takes so I can credit them at the end of it. But the question is, what storyline, if any in wrestling history, what storyline would you go back in time to change if you could change the booking for it? Brett, I'm passing this one to you. What storyline out of any of them would you go back in time to change the outcome of?
Change the outcome of.
Or just change, the storyline in general, but I presume the question means the outcome.
So I have present day ones that I would change. I didn't really think about past ones. Maybe have Goldberg have a little tougher time getting to 125 or what was it, 166?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Make him show that he's a little stronger in that aspect, because I'm a huge Goldberg fan. But watching him win every week is getting boring. Not me just hearing about it is boring. So I wish they kind of would have spiced things up a little bit over there. I can go current day. I'm gonna go current day right now. I think CM Punk should have one storyline.
Oh, okay.
I think that he should. The Money in the Bag to me was MJF. They have the real story there. The real champion, the fake champion. That would have been a perfect one. I'm going back and forth AEW and WWE right now. So I have QTV. I think they should be off TV.
Oh no!
Yes. I'm sorry. I am good on QTV. I do not want anything to do with them anymore. They made that Hobbs storyline a little less stronger for me.
Oh, wow.
Because Hobbs was already looking good. Why couldn't he just do it by himself? I said this last week as well.
Yeah.
I think Rey Mysterio's title should have been given to LA Knight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a fair one.
He has all of the steam behind him right now. Why not give him that major push? I know they're kind of building up, but there's only so much people can take before they're like, okay, let's move to the next thing.
Yeah.
So especially with people in today's day and age with their attention spans and things like that, I think that it's time to push LA Knight. We've been chanting his name for a year almost now, or half a year. So let's go ahead and do that. I also think that Edge started the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been the one to completely diminish them.
Oh wow.
After Edge was eliminated from that because he was in the Brood, it didn't make any sense to me, that entire faction. I don't care what you say to me, it's not going to make sense because he has the dark undertones, Edge. Yes, Finn Balor does as well, but like no one in that faction really has they're not. You know what I mean? They're not.
No, I absolutely do.
They don't have that dark undertone.
I do see what you mean there.
They don't have that dark undertone. But I also one more. There's one last one.
Okay, yeah.
One last one. Trish and Becky should have never happened.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's dragged on. I'll give you that.
Trish and Becky.
I'll back you up on that.
Yeah, I do. I think Trish should have stayed retired. No offense. I love her. But I think she should have stayed. Just like Jeff Hardy right now. Jeff Hardy's not doing great wrestling. Like he's looking older, but like RVD's looking better than Jeff Hardy right now. So
That's true.
I think that Becky would have been better off working with a younger talent. Like I don't know.
Fair enough. No, I mean that's a very, very solid point. It is. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think Trish has done fine. I think to me at least, it's more so the booking. But I'll agree, the storyline it's dragged on. We talk about it on the Tuesday show all the time. As for the hate on the Judgment Day, just like me and Drizzy weren't having any of it when Clark was hating on them, I'm still not having any of it. I think the Judgment Day are highly entertaining. But I agreed with you at the time. fact, Edge leaving it when it happened, I was like, why? What's the point in this? It made no sense to me. So I 100% agree with that too. QTV, I agree with you like I did last week that I'm not, I don't think Hobbs, should have been involved with QTV, but I do really like QTV as, a mid-card thing to just, freshen up, do something different during shows. Those QTV TMZ like segments. I find them quite fun. I like a little bit of that corniness in wrestling at times. That's why I praised NXT a lot recently as well. But Brett, you made a lot of great points there. You absolutely did. But now let's move on and let's talk about not the past, but let's talk about tonight and let's talk about Monday Night Raw, because WWE have announced 3 things for tonight's episode, with the first one being that Shinsuke Nakamura will reveal what he told to Seth Rollins last week. And this is going to be quite interesting, because obviously Seth Rollins had that that shocked reaction, and I'm kind of thinking I really don't know what it could have been. I don't know what they're going to say it is to make Seth so shocked. I'm really not sure about it at all. I am slightly worried it's going to be a bit weird or something, but hopefully that delivers. But I'm really not sure about it. But I'm hopefully we'll be surprised by that. Then we have the New Day facing off against McIntyre and Riddle. A heel turn, a Drew McIntyre heel turn, please. I've been wanting it for so long now. I'm really hoping that is what happens there. But let's get to the main talking point right now. Let's talk about the big match tonight, which is Chad Gable taking on Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. If Gunther wins, it's very, very likely he's going to become the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. Brett, I'm going to send it to you first. Do you think Chad Gable is going to defy the odds and stop Gunther from becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time?
No, I absolutely do not. I don't think that Chad Gable has it in him. I don't think, they've been doing great with merch sales and everything like that, but Gunther is a way stronger of a competitor. I don't think that's not even a discussion, to be completely honest with you. All respect to Chad Gable and all that he's done, but they are completely different wrestlers and they're in completely different leagues. I do believe that the beginning of the show, Nakamura is I think they need to give Nakamura a little bit of an edge. I will say that. So when he comes out tonight, I hope it's something like very bold that he comes out with and not something kind of boring, because they've knocked down Nakamura from who he used to be a lot in WWE. I'm not going to lie. So I'm glad that he's getting the push right now that he is. And like you said, I am hoping that Drew McIntyre does do a heel turn tonight. Will that happen? Because do we get what we want in WWE all the time? No, but we will see.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do agree. It probably won't happen. But Numero One Superfly sent in their prediction, and they're saying this is probably the wrong prediction, but Shinsuke told Seth to expect the unexpected. I mean, I don't know why he'd be so shocked by that, but who knows? But he's also still predicting that Otis will be eating a hot dog in front of Gunther tonight. Oh, that one. As soon as you said that last week, I was like, yeah, that would be hilarious. Just Gunther looking at Otis in absolute disgust as he's eating a hot dog, outside the ring. But again, like Brett said, do we, get what we want in WWE? Not always. And I don't think, unfortunately, we're going to get the hot dog eating Otis. But what about you, Carter? Do you think we're going to have a new Intercontinental Champion tonight?
I mean, as a Alpha Academy stan, it really hurts me to say this. I don't think I love the push they're giving Chad Gable and Otis and Maxine. I mean, it's hilarious. It's fun. They're doing the perfect thing with Chad Gable, but I mean, Brett's right. I don't see him beating Gunther. I mean, they built such a strong wrestler in Gunther since he's gotten to the WWE, and that's totally true. I mean, for Gunther to lose to Chad Gable, I mean, it would be a hell of an upset. And if anyone's going to upset Gunther like that, Chad Gable's the guy. I don't see that happening at all. I do want to see Otis eat a hot dog tonight, though. I would love to see that, or some sort of, I don't know, after match shenanigans would be fantastic. I think too, Shinsuke Nakamura, I think he does also need an edge to him. I think if you look at how his run in New Japan versus now, it's just, yeah, I know it's two completely different countries and cultures and stuff, but him and Seth Rollins is very interesting, though. It's a super interesting rivalry, or not rivalry, but just combination of people. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I do wish the WWE would do a little bit more with Shinsuke, considering how much of a legend he is. But yeah, I don't see Gable beating Gunther. It hurts me to say that. I really wish he would, but no, I see Gable and Gunther getting more of a. Or no, Gable and Otis getting more of a tag team push than Gable taking the Intercontinental Championship off Gunther.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I will agree with you there, Carter. I can't see it happening tonight either. And yeah, I mean, I was watching Shinsuke Nakamura, back in Japan. I mean, I was watching his final match live, and I really thought, oh, this guy's fantastic. And then, of course, he ended up in WWE and NXT. He had a great run, but it just didn't translate as well on the main roster. And I'm glad we're seeing him in this World Championship picture again. And I'm hoping that, it works out there. But we got a comment here from Clark Taylor, the co-host of the show, on his day off. We've got to get to one of these comments. And yeah, you're telling me the only Clark mentioned on the show is Clark Connor. Sorry about that, Clark. What happens is the comments keep on coming once we move on to the next segment. But I'm going to take a step back for a second and address this. Clark is saying that Bret is spot on. That we were there for Edge versus Balor at Hell in a Cell, and he's tired from making excuses for the Judgment Day. It's a group of individuals, not a quality faction. I'm sorry, I disagree. I'd agree with you 6 months ago, definitely a year ago when initially Edge left the group. I'd agree with you completely. But come on, social media-wise, the Judgment Day is getting more engagement, well, pretty much as much engagement as the Bloodline was getting. Yes, a big thing about that's Rhea Ripley. There's no denying that, right? She's super over. But the Judgment Day's been the best part of Raw for a while now. And I really do like what they've become, and I feel like we're going to miss them once they split up, right? I think it's going to be one of those situations where after it all happens, we're going to miss them. But Coby, very quickly, what is your thoughts on Judgment Day? And do you think that Gable will become the United States champion tonight? Intercontinental. Are you muted, Coby? Are you muted on your end, Coby? Oh, I think we've got a bit of a technical difficulty here.
Hey, it happened to me. I understand.
Oh, no, absolutely. It happens to all of us. At times it's part of live broadcasting. But I mean, Carter, what's your thoughts on the Judgment Day?
I honestly, my personal opinion, same exact opinion on Shinsuke Nakamura as Finn Balor. I would just like to see more wins out of Finn Balor. Just pat him with a couple more squash matches. He's great, and I mean his Hell in a Cell was amazing. It's just, for such a good wrestler to have so many losses consecutively, I just wish the company would build him up a little more. I think that's my main criticism as a faction. Sorry, Clark. I think they're a great faction. I mean, it's fun to watch. But I think that's just my one criticism is the same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura, which is funny. They both had great runs in Japan, but it's just I think Finn Balor just needs more squash matches. Sorry, Coby. Finn needs more squash matches. They need to build him up a little more and just give him more wins, because if you look at his record on Cage Match right now, he doesn't.
It's the worst out of anybody on any of the major promotions by far. But I actually think it might be the worst. The matches he's had, the worst in the world, to be honest.
And no one thinks he deserves that.
I do think that they're going to take care of Finn Balor though for doing this.
Yeah.
He was the original champion of the Universal Champion, correct?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
So I believe that he deserves that spot again, but they're waiting for the right moment.
I hope you're right.
And the Judgment Day, can we call them something else, please?
I think it was split up soon, and there's no point changing the name now.
But yeah, obviously now. But I'm saying like you can't change that name now. No. But like Edge is not there anymore. I was hoping like as soon as that separated, that there was some type of separation as well from the darkness, because you guys aren't like a dark group anymore.
Yeah. No,
So give it some attitude. Give it some like the Judgment Day just doesn't do it for me with all of them wearing eyeshadow and things like that and looking dark and like it's cool, but we have the House of Black and it's like almost like
cooler.
Exactly. So it's
I'll
like,
agree with that. The vibe of the House of Black is cooler. So.
It's way cooler. There's a way different like vibe to it. I just think that and also as individuals, I don't think that they would be worse off by themselves. I think it just depends on the storyline.
I am going to have to wrap up the show now, but I do agree. Coby is back. Thank you, guys. So sorry, Coby. We do not have time. Right, very quickly, Coby, Gable or Gunther? Gable or Gunther?
Well, I mean, it's obvious Gunther's going to win.
Yes.
I don't know how good this mic is, but I don't know how good I sound. It's obvious Gunther's going to win.
Absolutely. We're all on the same page. Gunther's going to win today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're over on YouTube, please leave a like and subscribe. If you're over on Twitch, please give us a follow. If you're over on Spotify, please give us a cheeky 5-star. And if you're on X, please give us a retweet. We'll be back here tomorrow, the normal time, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Coby, Brett, and Carter. We will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy.